Hello and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. Welcome to another session of Economy this week, wherein we are taking up the economy related articles from different newspapers and analyzing these particular articles. In this video, I'll be covering the time period from 28th August to 3rd of September 2025, and this is the list of the articles that I'm covering in today's session. If you're liking this initiative, do not forget to hit the like button. And if you're yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Now, before I start the discussion, two very important announcements. The first one, if you're someone who is aiming to ace the Civil Services Examination 26 and 2027, you need to ensure that you have a comprehensive coverage of the static portion. You have the coverage of current affairs material as well. You need to ensure you have right reading material which will help you in the correct revision. You need to attempt multiple prelims as well as mains test series. All of this is available once you enroll into our courses, which is priced at the lowest right now, 17,999. And not just this, while enrolling, if you use the code IAS English, you will also get an extension for up to 12 months free of cost. Those who are interested, do check out the details by clicking on the link provided in the description below. Second, very important announcement, I keep on getting mails as well as the comments in different videos asking for the PPT or the notes regarding the topic that I've covered, specifically economy this week. Now, all you need to do is go to the description of this particular video. In the description, there will be a link which will be pasted. This particular link will be titled Indian Economy for Exams Repository link. Click on the link. Once you click, this window will pop up. And in this particular window, please go to the tab Prelims and you will see all the topics that I've covered since the first episode of Economy this week from month of June. All the topics that I've covered have been listed. The YouTube video where I've covered these particular topics, it is also there. And more importantly, in the column D, that is a document link, there will be a link for the drive provided. Click on the link and basically it will lead to opening up of one more window like this. Whatever PPT I'm using, along with the notes, for example, July 2025 notes, PPT, August 2025 notes and the PPT, all of these are available. Download it and more importantly, use it for your preparation purposes. Now let me start the discussion. The first article, USA court has ruled that the tariffs which have been implemented, announced and which have come into force by the USA administration, a lot of them are illegal. A lot of them have to be withdrawn now. Before I start the discussion, please understand the announcement or the order has been issued by the USA court. But this is not final because till 14th of October, the time has been provided to the USA government to appeal to the Supreme Court of USA. Now it is, right, let's say something that will keep on happening for the next couple of weeks. We'll keep a track of it and whatever is the final outcome, that will be important for your exams. But in addition to that, what are the important observations which have been made by the court here? Are all the tariffs illegal? Why is the court simply saying some of these particular tariffs are illegal, not all of them? And these are some of the tariffs which have been pinpointed by the court now have to be withdrawn if this order is upheld by the USA Supreme Court. Listen to me very carefully. The government of USA, headed by Mr. Donald Trump, has announced multiple sets of tariffs. To be very precise here, one set of tariffs, for example, in the context of India, one set of tariffs is a 50% tariff. And again, tariff is nothing but a tax, by the way. So 50% tariff has been announced. 25% out of this 50% essentially is the normal tax rate, and remaining 25% essentially is the penal tax rate or penalty which the government of USA has imposed on India because we are importing crude oil from Russia. So total is 50%. And this 50% is not applicable to all the goods that we are exporting. It is applicable on around 40 plus billion dollar worth of exports that will go from India to USA. But in addition to this 50%, there are also certain sectoral tariffs. There are certain sectoral tariffs. What do you mean by sectoral tariff here? Apart from the 50% which is applicable on $40 billion plus of India's exports, some of the sectors such as steel and aluminium, they also have been imposed or have been slapped with certain tariff or the tax rate. The USA court, the most recent ruling of the USA court, is applicable to the first 50% tariff rate, but is not applicable to the second set. That is a sectoral tariff announced by the USA administration. Why so? Listen to me very carefully. The government of USA, while announcing these kind of tariffs on India as well as many other trading partners, used a provision from a piece of legislation by the name of IEEPA. What is IEEPA? IEEPA stands for International Emergency Economic Powers Act. International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Please remember this. This particular act, 1977, under this, the provision has been utilized by the USA administration to slap 50% tariff on India's exports. The USA court now says that the government under the IEEPA, I repeat, the government under IEEPA does not have the power to impose tariff. The government doesn't have the power. Who has the power then? It is the Congress which has the power to announce or the slap the tariffs, not the administration of government of USA. And that is the precise reason the court in this particular ruling has stated that these 50% tariffs which have been announced on India, along with many other tariffs which have been imposed on the trading partners of USA, these are illegal. The government has used a provision where it doesn't have the power. It has simply announced these particular tariff. But what is the argument of government of USA? What is the administration saying there? The administration simply says there are other laws as well. There are other laws where the provisions could have been used by the administration to announce a tariff. Right? Point number one. What kind of other laws are they referring to? There is a law by the name of Trade Expansion Act. Trade Expansion Act 1962. There is also one more piece of legislation which has been quoted by the administration. That is the Trade Act of 1974. So administration is simply saying there is a provision under the Trade Expansion Act, that is section 232. And under the Trade Act, there is a section 301, which the government or the administration could have used to impose tariff. But the argument of the administration is there is a national emergency right now. There is a national emergency. And what is the reason which has been used to say that there is a national emergency? The government of US has stated that look at the fentanyl crisis. Look at the fentanyl crisis. We're importing fentanyl from different countries such as Canada, such as China, etc. And this is causing a lot of disturbance, death of lot of citizens of USA. And this constitutes a national emergency. And when there is national emergency, I can't use the provisions such as the section 232 or section 301 because these are a time consuming process. These basically provide the power. No doubt. These have provisions which will give the power to the government to impose the tariff. But these are time consuming procedures. For example, under section 232, there is a need to first conduct an investigation, right, where the time period given is around 9 months, 270 days. The Ministry of Commerce has to conduct an investigation, then submit a report. The president will have another 90 days to take a call whether to impose a tariff or not. So the argument is this is a time consuming process. What about section 301? There also the investigation has to be conducted by the United States trade representative for a period of 12 months, and then the report has to be submitted, and then the call on imposing tariff will be taken by the administration. So argument is yes, there are different provisions under different laws where the tariffs can be announced by the administration, but all of these are time consuming procedures. Rather than that, there is a national emergency, and that's the reason we have imposed the tariffs on India along with many other trading partners. But the court in the USA has not accepted this argument. The court simply says, yes, if you want to impose a tariff, then the administration doesn't have the power to announce the tariff. It has to be done by the Congress. It has to be done by the Congress, not by the USA administration. So, citing this, these particular tariffs, which have been announced by the government of USA, such as 50% on India, have been ruled by the court as illegal. And last point, which is a repetition, immediately these tariffs will not be withdrawn. The time period has been given to the USA administration till the 14th of October, and till then, it can approach the Supreme Court of the USA. Done. So these are certain very important points. Based on this, I've given an MCQ. Those who want to solve it, pause the video, solve the MCQ. Those who do not want to solve the MCQ and want to simply listen, do not pause the video. Let's continue. Which of the following are likely outcomes of a tariff policy? Imports become cheaper. And please understand, don't ask me, sir, from the context of India or from the context of USA. It has been announced by USA. So we are discussing from the context of USA here. And to be very clear, I've used the term imposing country. So imports become cheaper for an imposing country. Imports into USA will become cheaper because of the tariff. Incorrect. Protect the domestic industry of imposing country. Right? I hope you understand. By imposing the tariffs, will the domestic industries be protected? Of course, yes. And that is one of the arguments which has been put forward by Mr. Donald Trump here. Right? So, second statement is correct. Generate revenue for the imposing country. How so? When the government imposes taxes, it will collect the taxes. So, government tax receipts will balloon. And that is true, by the way. So, second and third are true. How many of the above statements is or are true? Right option for the question will be option B. Only two of the statements are correct. Let me go to the next article. Slightly technical, but please listen to me very carefully. India to implement OECD's crypto reporting framework from April 2027. Now, what is this crypto reporting framework? Please listen to me carefully. Right now, India has signed an agreement. There is an agreement called as MCAA. What is MCAA? MCAA stands for Multilateral Competent Authority Agreement. Authority Agreement. And you people, please do not keep on writing down or noting these particular points down. Why? Whatever short forms I'm mentioning here, whatever full forms I'm writing on the slide, etc., you can download the PPT, and I guarantee you this, that these terminologies in full form are given in the handout as well. So please don't worry, listen first. So there is an agreement by the name of MCAA. Now, what is the importance of this particular MCAA? Government of India back in the year 2015 signed this particular MCAA. But the important point to note here is the 2015 agreement that the government of India signed will help government of India get access to the financial transactions, the financial account transactions. What if there is an Indian resident, let's say citizen of India such as you and me? We are present in India. We are earning money in India. But part of the money we are not investing in India. We are investing outside India. Now, other types of investments, for example, bank accounts that we keep outside India, government of India under MCA can get access to these kind of information. But what if instead of investing anywhere else, I've invested in crypto assets? All of you are able to understand? What if I've invested outside India, but not in any other asset, but in crypto assets or virtual digital assets? So there is always a danger that I might have invested, I'm generating certain income, I'm earning profits, but I'm not reporting that particular information to the government of India. And as such, please understand, any kind of these investments that you do outside India, you are supposed to report. Sir, where am I supposed to report? Whenever you file your income tax returns. Whenever you file your income tax returns, you are supposed to report all of this, right? Let's say sources of income, especially if you are generating income outside India as well. Sir, what if I don't report it? I know some of you will be thinking, some of you will simply say, I'm investing outside India. How will government of India ever come to know about it? My dear, if government of India will come to know about this particular source of income, there can be tax demand notices that shall be sent to you. And I'll tell you how government of India can come to know. There shall be tax notices sent to you. And there is also penal provisions under Black Money Act. Black Money and Imposition of Tax Act. Black Money and Imposition of Tax Act 2015. So under this, you are supposed to report your foreign source of income, how much generation of money you have done, how much is your profit, etc. If you do not do that, government can send the tax notices to you. There are penalty provisions under this particular act as well. Now listen to me carefully. I said MCA, one of this MCA was signed by Government of India back in 2015. But this MCA will help Government of India get access to other types of financial investments that you do outside India. What about your investments in crypto assets? What about your investments if you do in virtual digital assets outside India? In such a case, you may not report the information to the government. And if you do not disclose this information to the government, you may end up not paying any kind of tax as well. And that will be a loss of revenue for the government of India. So, what is the government of India trying to do here? Listen to me very carefully. The OECD group of countries, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The OECD group of countries has developed a framework by the name of CARF. CARF stands for Crypto Asset Reporting Framework. I'll repeat the statement again, and don't worry, it is there in the handout. Crypto Asset Reporting Framework. The Crypto Asset Reporting Framework essentially will cover different types of service providers associated with crypto. What kind of service providers? What if there is an exchange where cryptos can be purchased and sold? What if there is a brokerage company which will basically provide you the wallet services? Right? So there are different types of service providers associated with crypto. Now, these service providers are supposed to report any kind of transaction that you conduct involving the crypto assets. Very simple. They're supposed to report any kind of transaction that you do involving the crypto assets. What do you mean by involving crypto assets? You have converted your fiat money into crypto or vice versa. You have sold crypto, you have purchased crypto, you have transferred some crypto into wallet and from wallet to the stock, the crypto exchanges, etc. So any kind of transactions that you do, including the retail payments, now these transactions will have to be reported, and that is basically CARF. Now, once they are reported, Government of India is considering signing MCAA. All of you are able to understand? The CARF mandates the service providers to report the information to the respective authorities in that country. But the Government of India should get access to that information. Now, Government of India will sign MCAA. As a result of this MCA, which will be signed by the government, they will get access to this particular report or this information which has been collected by these countries under CARF. So the whole objective of Government of India is very simple here. these kind of assets where you have invested outside India, you are supposed to report. But if you do not report now, I will have a methodology to collect the information. I will get this information from other countries where you have invested. And now I will use it to collect taxes from you. And not just this, if you have reported the information, how will the government of India come to know the amount of income that you have reported is correct or incorrect? Now, this information under MCAA and CARF can be utilized by the government to consolidate, to check whether the report or the income that you have reported is correct or incorrect. That is essentially the importance of the CARF and MCAA here. Okay. Now, based on this discussion, let's solve one more MCQ. Which of the following statements regarding crypto asset regulatory framework, multilateral competent authority agreement are correct? Okay, right. So, first is India is a signatory of MCAA for sharing the crypto asset related info. This is incorrect. Financial assets, yes. Crypto, as of now, no. CARF has been developed by OECD group of countries. Yes, the second statement is true. Right, so right option for this particular question will be option B. Only second statement is correct. Third article, corporate bond market. Now listen to me very carefully. What is the discussion that is happening in the editorial? And by the way, this editorial is from Business Line newspaper. Now, what is the importance of the article? In case of India, there is always one concern raised regarding the bond market. And what is the concern? Most of the debt instruments in the bond market are issued by the government. Simple. Most of the instruments are issued by the government. The bond market is dominated by the government. But please understand, along with the government, which will issue bonds and borrow from the market, even the private sector is allowed to issue and borrow from the market. Correct? Private sector is also allowed to issue bonds and borrow from the bond market. But in case of India, the penetration of the bonds of the private sector, the issuance of the bonds of the private sector, the trading of the bonds of the private sector, etc., have been lagging behind compared to government bonds. And there is no surprise associated with this. You should not be surprised. Why? The government bonds enjoy more confidence in the market. The government bonds are used in the repo operations of Reserve Bank of India. The government bonds have very high demand not only from the domestic investors but also from the foreign investors. So there are multiple reasons why the bond market is dominated by the government bonds and not from the private sector bonds. But this is also a cause of concern. Why? The reason is the private sector requires funding. It requires capital or money in simple terms. It cannot be dependent only on the banking sector to get access to this capital. Every time you require money as a private sector company, you can't run to the banking sector. That will put a lot of pressure on the banking sector as well. The risk undertaken by the banking sector to by giving a loan to these kind of borrowers, risk is also very high. So what is the solution to all of this? The solution is promotion of corporate bonds. Promotion of corporate bonds. And that is exactly what this article is discussing here. Since financial year 2022, since financial year 2022, the issuance as well as the trading of corporate bonds is picking up. Is it okay? I'll repeat the statement again. Since the financial year 2022, which means 3 consecutive years now, the issuance as well as the trading of corporate bonds is actually increasing. And in the financial year 25 alone, around 10 lakh crore rupees worth of bonds have been issued. That is, corporate bonds have been issued, which is a good sign for India. Reason, right? You should understand with this, it will help in diversification of the investments. Rather than investing only in the government bonds, now you will be investing in corporate bonds as well. For the corporate, it will help raise more capital. The dependence on the banking sector will go down. And the one of the other reasons why this particular the issuance has been higher in recent times has been said to be the high net worth individuals as well as the foreign investors, HNI and FI. The high net worth individuals and foreign investors, more and more of them are bringing lot of money into India, or they are already present in India, and they are investing and taking a higher amount of risk by investing in these particular corporate bonds. Right? So this basically fits into the argument of the Reserve Bank of India governor that more and more corporate bond promotion has to be done. With more investment, more interest would be generated. More interest, more investment will lead to more of trading also. The secondary market for the corporate bonds will start picking up, and that will help the corporates to raise the funds, reduce reliance, invest more, and contribute to the economic activity. So these are certain very important points associated with the editorial. Let me go to the next article here. The Uttar Pradesh government has set up an outsourcing corporation for transparency, better employee benefits. And what is the importance of this article? Please listen to me very carefully now. Different state governments employ certain number of people, right, basically to provide services, conduct certain activities, etc. But all these employees which are hired by the state government are not hired directly. These are on temporary basis. That is, for example, there will be a contractor. The government will contract certain work to the contractor, and the contractor will supply the labor units to the government. And when this kind of a model is followed, where the state is not directly hiring, I hope you understand, the state government is not directly hiring the employees. If the state government directly hires, these will become state government employees. They have to be paid certain amount of salary, hidden benefits such as right, let's say social security contribution, paid leaves, maternity benefits, etc., have to be provided by the state government. But here, what the government does is it will basically rent out this kind or lease out this kind of a work to a company or let's say an entity. And this entity will use the labor units at their disposal, right, and provide the services for the state government. Now, the state governments are worried. What is the worry of the state government? I am supposed to make certain payment for the labor units. I will transfer the money. What is the guarantee that this entity will provide the correct salary to the labor units? That is people, by the way. What is the guarantee? There is no guarantee. What if the entity will take a cut and transfer amount of money to the labor and simply say, this is what was given by the government? What if there is a delay in transferring the money? What if the social security contribution, which was supposed to be done by the entity on behalf of the labor, is not being contributed? So, looking at all of this, the state of Uttar Pradesh, the government of Uttar Pradesh now has announced a new policy. They will be setting up a new outsourcing corporation. They have established or they have announced that they will be setting up a new outsourcing corporation. The name of that has been given as Outsource Service Corporation Limited. Outsource Service Corporation Limited, OSCL. Right, this particular OSCL will be set up as Section 8 company. It will be set up as government owned entity, but under Section 8 of Companies Act of 2013. And anything that is registered as a Section 8 company, please remember these are referred to as non-profit organizations. Non-profit organizations. That is essentially whatever profits are generated, whatever revenue is generated by these entities, the profits will not be given to the owners. They will be again reinvested into the business. These are essentially referred to as non-profit organizations. For example, all of you, I'm pretty sure, have heard of GST Network. GST Network, a backbone, infrastructure backbone providing entity. So, GST Network is also established as a Section 8 company itself. Earlier, it was called as a Section 25 under Companies Act of 1956. Now, these are called as Section 8 companies under the Companies Act of 2013. So point number 1, OSCL will be set up as a Section 8 company, and this OSCL now, rather than different departments or different ministries having their own procedure to hire the labor units on contractual basis, the OSCL will be using the government e-marketplace portal to contract this particular workout. Right? Basically, hire the entity and get the labor units from the entity. So, government e-marketplace will be used, which will promote efficiency, which will promote transparency in the system. And what kind of jobs will be provided, right, through this particular model? Now, the salary that will be paid to the employees will be into their bank account directly. The salary will be around 16,000 to 20,000 rupees per month. The employees are hired through this particular process will also be provided with upskilling. Women employees, when they become pregnant, right, let's say maternity benefits will be provided. Services, right, for a 3-year term will be given. Salary, EPF contribution, ESI transfers, etc., will also be done by the government. So these are some of the benefits which are associated with this kind of a process which has been introduced, announced by the state of UP. Now, what is the importance of all of this? Whenever you come across, let's say, the gig economy, whenever you come across the contractual work, etc., there is always a concern that right payment is not done, correct salary is not paid, hidden benefits are not provided, right, etc. And especially these kind of contractual workers across multiple states at multiple instances have been demanding that they should be treated in the right way, their work should be, right, let's say, recognized, right salary should be paid, right, they should be protected by providing social security benefits, etc. There you can use this as an example or as a case study to prove your point that yes, the states need to do better in order to provide these kind of contractual workers. Next article, suspect registry system. Now, what is the suspect registry system? Please listen to me carefully. In the recent times, there is a lot of discussion and the debate that is happening associated with digital frauds. Even the Prime Minister of India spoke about this in one of the episodes of Man Ki Baat. And various other reforms, various other measures have already been implemented. Now, one reform that is being discussed in this article is there is one portal set up by I4C. I4C stands for Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. This functions under Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, what has been done? They have set up a registry called as Suspect Registry System. Yes or yes. And in this particular system or the portal, the information from different sources have been collected. Different sources, the data set has been collected. And what does this data set essentially contain? It contains the names and the details of certain individuals who are generally involved in doing these kind of fraud activities, digital scam related individuals, etc. Now, a detailed system has been developed, registry has been developed. Multiple financial institutions, around 60 plus financial institutions in India, especially the banking sector, has been given access to this. The financial institutions have been provided with the access to this. And what is the use of this? Whenever there are certain concerns or let's say certain transactions which are concerning for a bank, now the banks will be flagging these particular transaction because they have got the access to the registry which has been created by I4C. Right? So by using this, many of the transactions have been stalled, they have been stopped, the money has been refunded into the right account, etc. So the data has been provided here. How many transactions have been declined so far? 13 lakh. Right? This particular model was set up in September 2024. And since then, more than 13 lakh transactions have been declined. And right, more than 3 lakh accounts have been frozen. And more than 15,000, right? I'm sorry, more than 5,000 crore rupees have been saved. That is essentially the money that was being transferred, wired using these fraud accounts. So this is the importance associated with the suspect registry system. Add it as one more measure undertaken by the government to protect the people or the common man from being cheated by these kind of crooked criminals, or let's say the elements in the society. Now, next article, Krishi Nivesh portal. Right? What is this Krishi Nivesh portal? Krishi Nivesh portal has been set up by the government, that is Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. It was established in September 2024. And what is the use of this particular Krishi Nivesh portal? Across the governments, that is the state government as well as the central government, multiple reforms or multiple initiatives have been announced by the governments. You will see one state government announcing a measure to promote farmers' welfare. Central government will announce one more measure to again target the farmer and provide welfare for them. Right? So, argument of the government of India is multiple schemes have been implemented. And there are certain schemes where, right, let's say the investors or the companies or the startups can get certain assistance of the government in the form of, let's say, interest, in the form of capital subsidy, etc. But the problem is, all these particular schemes are announced individually. Center will announce the schemes individually. The states will announce these particular schemes individually, right? Which means there is no one point of access for, let's say, beneficiaries. One point of access for the companies is not there. One common point where everything can be accessed for the investors, it is not there. Right? If you are an investor, you want to invest, you want to know, can you get, let's say, certain amount of subsidy? But for that, you'll have to go to multiple websites, search, right? Some of the ministries have dedicated websites for a particular scheme only. That is a very time consuming process, very complicated process. And right, in the hope of achieving all of this or getting access to all of this, you may not even come to know, right, let's say certain subsidies or the access certain benefits which are announced by the government because you did not check out that information. So what is the solution? The government of India, that is, again, I'm repeating this, the Ministry of Agriculture and Welfare has proposed a one stop solution for all of this. That is, a portal has been proposed by the name of Krishi Nivesh. What is the use of this particular Krishi Nivesh portal? Please have a look at this. By providing this kind of, let's say, information regarding multiple schemes of the central government, of the state governments under one portal, what we are trying to achieve is boost investments, ease the and provide hand holding services so that the process becomes easier, to provide guidance and assistance for investors with major infrastructure that is available, to provide several welfare schemes for the farmers in India, to enhance the R&D, that is research and innovative technologies in the agriculture sector, to support investors and companies, right, under multiple schemes, under policies, incentives that are provided by both center as well as the state, and to basically tap the potential of all the subsectors in the agriculture sectors or subsectors under the agriculture, right, sector in India. So these are the seven objectives with which the Krishi Nivesh portal has been set up. And now basically the government says it is right planning to push this particular digital tool, right, for accessibility, for visibility for different stakeholders in the market. So you can use this if at all a question is asked in the prelims, directly straightforward you can answer. And if at all, let's say the question is how digital technology is being used by the government to promote ease of doing business, ease of accessibility, etc., please mention the Krishi Nivesh portal. Now, straightforward MCQ based on what we have discussed. The Krishi Nivesh portal is overseen by Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. It is not Minister of Chemicals and Fertilizer, not Minister of Social Justice, right? And not even none of the above. The right option for this particular question is option A, Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So these were the different articles from different newspapers such as Mint, Business Line, Business Standard, etc., that I wanted to cover in this episode of Economy This Week. If you like this initiative, do not forget to hit the like button. If you are yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. And just to reiterate the point here, those who want to download the PPT, please use the link, download, and more importantly, use it for revision purposes. That's it in today's episode. See you in the next episode. Thank you. Have a great day.